My name is Talon, and I'm an 8th grader at Madison.
Hi, my name is Issa, and I'm in 8th grade.
What do you know about puppy mills?
They're basically breeding facilities that treat the dogs really poorly and only use them for profit.
I know that puppy mills are obviously bad. They put dogs in cages with completely horrible living conditions. And for people who usually buy dogs from puppy mills, they usually end up dying from complications because of how poorly treated they were in puppy mills.
Do you think it's bad, and why?
Yes, I obviously think it's bad because it's quite literally animal abuse. That's really...
Yeah, it's really bad because dogs shouldn't be treated that way.
Do you have a connection to puppy mills?
Yeah, I have a dog at home.
I wouldn't say I really have a connection to puppy mills, but I did have a dog. I don't know if my dog actually came from a puppy mill. I don't think it did. But I was also 6 years old, so yeah.
What do you think we can do to help?
Don't support things that go into those organizations.
Yeah. I think that we should start to show how bad puppy mills usually are and tell people that puppy mills aren't a good place to buy from because they do kill dogs. It's literally animal abuse. And that dog that you will get, it will most likely die.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The first record of dog breeding was in Britain in the 1800s. They were bred for many purposes like herding and hunting, but many dogs today are bred for profit. Breeding like this often creates health problems for the dogs because there is more of a focus on looks and profitability than health. Today, there are breeding facilities called puppy mills that create horrible living conditions for dogs. Dogs in puppy mills are usually kept in cages their entire lives. There are an estimated 10,000 puppy mills in the US alone, and around 1.2 million dogs are killed in them each year.
You are talking about dirty cages, wire floors, rusty. You're talking about food that is contaminated, water filled with algae sometimes, dogs that are emaciated. It's a horrible, horrible existence for man's best friend. We see horrible physical conditions, problems with the paw pads from being on those wire floors for their whole lives, eye problems, ear problems, it just goes on and on.
With an estimated 10,000 puppy mills in the United States, the industry rakes in hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
It's a profit-driven industry, so there's very little incentive for these puppy mill operators to stop producing dogs at this alarming rate. Many consumers unknowingly purchase puppy mill dogs at pet stores and online without knowing where the dogs came from. When you do make the decision to purchase a dog in a pet store, what you're doing is supplying the puppy mill industry.
These answers are from the Humane Society of the United States Frequently Asked Questions section. Number 1. What are puppy mills? A puppy mill is an inhumane dog breeding facility in which the health of dogs is disregarded in order to maintain a low overhead and maximize profits. Number 2. Are there any laws against puppy mills? In 1996, Congress passed the Animal Welfare Act, which ensures specific minimum standards of care for animals bred in commercial sale. Only large-scale commercial facilities that breed or broker animals for sale are required to be licensed and inspected by the USDA because they're considered wholesale operations. Those who sell directly from the public face-to-face, thousands of facilities that breed and sell just as many puppies as their wholesale counterparts are not required to adhere to Animal Welfare Act or any of the federal humane care standards. Inspection records show that many licensed breeders get away with repeated violations of the Animal Welfare Act. These violators are rarely fined and their licenses are rarely suspended. Facilities with long histories of repeated violations for basic care conditions are often allowed to renew their licenses again and again. Number 3. There's a puppy mill in my area. How can I get the authorities to investigate and shut it down? First, please be aware that operating a commercial breeding kennel may not be illegal in your area. But if you have seen a specific evidence of cruelty or neglect, the first agency to contact is a local agency with law enforcement powers, such as the local Humane Society, Animal Control Agency, or Police or Sheriff's Department. Cruelty and neglect laws vary state by state, but typically address conditions such as animals without food or water, sick dogs who are not being treated, or dogs without adequate shelter. Prepare specific details of your complaint in advance and, after you've made a report, get a case number or contact information related to your case. Number 4. I think my local pet stores might be selling dogs from puppy mills. How can I find out? Almost all pet store puppies come from puppy mills. Ask the pet store employees to show you the paperwork identifying the puppy's breeder and origins. If he or she refuses to do so or is reluctant to show you the paperwork, consider that a red flag. If you do inspect the paperwork, you may notice that a puppy has been shipped from out of state, often by a broker service. These are just a few indications that the store's dog may have come from a puppy mill. The bottom line is that responsible breeders do not sell their puppies to pet stores. They want to meet their puppy buyers in person and do not sell their puppies to the first person who shows up with cash in their hand. If puppy mills are so bad, why aren't they illegal? They tend to be able to get around laws against animal cruelty legally if they're giving the animals very basic things like shelter, food, and water. Laws about dog breeding are often weak and outdated. So, what can we do about this? Right now, we can make the choice to adopt from shelters and rescues. We also need to fight for greater regulations for dog breeding so that puppy mills will be shut down. If you want a dog, don't buy from a pet store online. Look at shelters and rescues first, and if you decide that the dogs there aren't good for you, make sure you're buying from a responsible breeder.